you can tap your toes to, and songs that will transport you to misty mountains and moors. This is Brian Kelso-Crow inviting you to join me for Celtic Connections.
Listen to Celtic Connections every Saturday afternoon at 1 on KSJE 90.9 FM, Farmington. This program is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, who's expanding its services to offer low-cost blood screenings all year round, now offering walk-in convenience to get the blood tests you want when you want them. MyLabs, patient-ordered testing, is available in Farmington at the hospital's laboratory and the Outpatient Diagnostic Center on 30th Street. Also in Aztec at San Juan Health Partners Family Medicine at 120 Llanos Street. With nearly 20 tests available, there's an option for everyone. MyLabs, patient-ordered testing, a wellness service of San Juan Regional Medical Center. This program on KSJE is supported by Citizens Trust and Investment Corporation, providing a competent, innovative, and caring team of professionals to serve wealth management, trust administration, employee benefit plans, retirement planning, and estate settlement needs. Find out more about Citizens Trust and Investment Corporation at 505-599-0181. Minutes past 8 o'clock. It's Wednesday morning, June 19th. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Micklin, and thank you for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM, the information and cultural beacon of the Four Corners, broadcasting to you from our visual radio studios here at San Juan College. Also, good morning to our viewers who are watching the program live this morning on the KSJE Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. Welcome aboard, everyone. We are glad you are with us. We'll be talking about Crimestoppers in just a few moments, so if we check on the weather this morning, let's do that by taking a look at the scene in Aztec from overnight and yesterday. Some time-lapse footage from the camera at the San Juan County Office of Emergency Management in Aztec. That's looking north, everybody. You have Oliver Drive there, and then Highway 516 across the middle of your screen as the camera looks north as the sky goes dark, and we're looking at the overnight time-lapse there of Aztec, and then the sunrise this morning as we get ready for another sunny Wednesday. Our forecast does call for a sunny day today, 85 for a high here in Farmington and in Aztec. Overnight low tonight, 54 degrees. It'll be sunny and a bit warmer tomorrow with a high near 90, 86 and sunny on Friday, 78. A little bit of a cool down for Saturday and Sunday, 74. Back into the low 80s on Monday, and as you can see, overnight lows, clear skies, and overnight lows from the mid-50s to the mid-40s on Sunday night. So as I mentioned, coming up this morning in just a few more moments, I'm talking with Johnny Adams. He is the new Executive Director of San Juan County Crimestoppers. Hope you'll stay tuned for that conversation, which starts in the next few moments right here on KSJE. And then at the end of the hour, as we do every Wednesday, we will check in with Communications Professor Dr. Mike Hadabaugh, our weekly trip to the Encouragement Lab. Some more great words of advice from Dr. Hadabaugh this morning at 8:50 here on KSJE. Mick Hess is here to take over at 9 o'clock after the news, Roving with the Arts. And today Mick is playing music from this composer that you see on your screen, and that is the composer Smetana. And we're playing The Bartered Bride. That's the music you'll hear today on an expanded edition of Roving with the Arts, 90 minutes, beginning at 9:06 on KSJE, because then at 10:30, it's right on Four Corners. Tracy Hales-Vass is speaking with author and poet Kathleen Browning about her collection of poems and more, coming up this morning at 10:30 right here on KSJE. If you're looking for something to do around the region today, tomorrow, this month, next month, we invite you to check out our regional events calendar at ksje.com. There's lots of things on our calendar to check out. As we take a look, there's a couple things to point out to you, including tonight, of course, the Jazz Jam, a weekly event in downtown Farmington. There's also some jazz going on tonight in Durango up at the Cypress Cafe. You can check that out as well. Two Spirits presentation happening tomorrow here at San Juan College in our student lounge, part of Gay Pride Month during the month of June. Sandstone Summer Theater premieres tomorrow night on June 20th, All Shook Up at Lions Wilderness Park Amphitheater, the downtown's Makers Market, also happening every Thursday this summer in downtown Farmington. The Farmington Social Dance Club having an event on the 21st as well at the Farmington Elks Lodge. And don't forget Friday, the Cottonwood Concert, sponsored by KSJE. Featuring musicians, and of course at the Farmington Public Library, two performances, one at 3:30, the other at 6 p.m. with the Cottonwood Concert Series at the Farmington Public Library. We hope you'll join us for that, in addition to, at noon, the Solstice presentation at the Farmington Public Library happening this Friday. So lots of things to see and do. We invite you to check them out. For some ideas, go to our website and our regional events calendar at ksje.com. Joining me now in our visual radio studios to talk a little bit about the Crimestoppers organization, Johnny Adams is here. He is the new executive director of San Juan County Crimestoppers. Good morning. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning, Scott. How are you doing?
I am well, thanks. And you are relatively new to the job, right? You've only been on the job for a couple months.
Yeah, I started the last part of April. So
Okay. And so far, so good?
so far it's been really, really great.
Excellent. And so give us an idea of, if folks have not heard too much about Crimestoppers recently, a little bit about the organization. This is an organization that works to get tips for law enforcement and other organizations in the community, and can even reward some of those tips with some money.
Correct.
Right?
Yes. Basically, Crimestoppers works for those. I can sum it up as it works for those who have information but don't feel comfortable talking with the police. You know, there are a lot of people who observe crimes throughout the community.
Right.
Just whatever it happens to be, and for whatever reason they're not comfortable talking with the police. So they can call us. Every call that we receive, all the information we receive, be it by the phone tip number or on the web, remains completely anonymous, and then we go and talk to the police and provide them the details of it.
Got you. And that's been its kind of MO for years, right, since it was founded.
Yeah.
And how long ago was that now? I'm
Well,
trying to remember.
Actually, most people aren't aware, but Crimestoppers actually started in Albuquerque in 1976.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah, there was a murder of a college student who was just trying to save money so that he and his wife could go on a decent honeymoon. Took an extra shift at a gas station, and was robbed and killed. So
Wow.
the detective in charge of it couldn't get any leads, couldn't get anybody to talk about it, so he put up his own money. And he did a reenactment, and within a couple of weeks, they got a tip, and both individuals who were involved in it were arrested.
Wow.
And then, so that started in '76, and Albuquerque saw the potential of it and decided to start the Crimestoppers program. The program came up to here in 1977, and we've been running
Wow.
that program
So
ever
one of
since.
the first, I would say, then.
We're, I believe, the second or the third.
Okay.
So
Very cool.
that,
And again, and I'm sure there's numbers, I don't know if you have them with you, but I'm sure the local Crimestoppers can take credit for helping to solve numerous cases then since that time.
yes, since that time we've received over 30,000 tips, and managed to get over 1,700 arrests out of those. So,
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
Very
We
good.
covered several millions of dollars in property,
Right?
millions of dollars in guns and weapons and stuff of that nature over its time. So
And the big key, as you mentioned, is the anonymity of
is
the caller.
anonymity,
And
and that's something that people, when you call dispatch and everything, the first thing that they ask you is your name, stuff of that nature, so that they can call you back in case you get disconnected.
Right.
And that's because they're an emergency response system. We're really not that system, but people have information that, like I said, they just don't feel comfortable talking with the police. So
Sure.
they come and talk to us. So
And I know you go to, and Crimestoppers goes to great lengths to keep that anonymity. I mean, again, in a world of caller ID and all this stuff, I
Right.
mean, you are probably the only entity in the county that blocks those. It doesn't see that when folks call in, and you have a different way to assign a number, I guess, to these callers. So if you do need to get back in touch with them, like to give them a check, you can do that.
well, basically that process is, as you know, we completely block. We don't get any information for any of the calls that are received. And then when the person comes in and provides that information, or they go on the phone or go on the web, at the end of their tip, they're given what's called a tipster's ID number.
Right.
And with that number, they have access to actually go back on the web, see what the process is, see if it's progressed to the point where there's been an arrest, and then if there's an award that's available to them, then they take that number. We work with one of the local financial institutions, and that person walks in there with that number, says, I'm with Crimestoppers, this is my tipster number, and they give them the reward.
They get a check or cash
They
or
get
whatever
cash.
it is. Right
They
there.
get cash right there. So total anonymity, because we
You
don't
never
even
meet
see
them. The police never meet them.
The police never meet
Right.
them. We never meet them. So it's total anonymity as to who
Right.
gives us those tips. So,
Okay. Well, and it seems to be a system that's working, as you mentioned, with all the cases that you've helped.
yes, it has worked very well. So
That's great. And all of the local law enforcement agencies I know in San Juan County work with Crimestoppers.
yes, they do.
If they have a case that they're looking for help with, they will send that to, I guess it goes to you,
Yes.
and then you can help promote that case, I guess, to
Yes,
your
we
network.
promote it on our website, and then through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the rest of those. So
You're on all the socials like
we get
everybody
on
else.
all the socials. So a lot of times what will happen is like Farmington PD or Aztec or Bloomfield will put on their Facebook, hey, we're looking for this person. Or the detectives will call us and say, hey, this is a person we're looking for. We'll put it on our stuff. And then San Juan County also shares our information.
Good.
So we get a really, really wide audience. I think at the last count we had over 14,000 people who followed our Facebook page alone. So
That's what you want.
yeah, it really is. So.
Nice. Well, very good. Well, all you Crimestoppers fans, follow the KSJE page too, because we could use a few of those followers on our page as well. But it's important, and the fact that you give out a reward, and you were telling me before we came on the air this morning, I know in the past it was for the arrest and conviction of a suspect, but now you may get a reward just for the arrest of a suspect.
For the arrest of the suspect is what we go by now. And the reason why is because if you consider arrest and conviction, there's a long process between somebody being arrested.
Take a year, couldn't it?
Yeah,
Or
it can
more.
take, I believe in New Mexico it's up to 18 months.
Year and a half.
Yeah, so that process, and the person could have done something and through process of the court's been found not guilty or something of that nature.
Right.
So we got rid of that one and said, okay, for the arrest, we will pay for that information.
Interesting. Okay, and it's still up to $1,000.
Up to $1,000. So.
And that money comes from where?
Well, we have three basic funding sources. We're a nonprofit,
Like we are.
like you guys are.
That's right.
So we're always out there raising money. We apply for grant money to help build that reward fund, and then the state of New Mexico has a Crimestoppers fee for those who are convicted on each case. They pay a fee back to us, and then
That's
we use
ironic,
that.
isn't it?
Yeah.
That
So,
they're
I kind of
convicted.
laughed about it because I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so essentially you're paying for the person who submitted the tip that got you arrested.
Right. So they're convicted because of a Crimestoppers tip, and
Right.
once they go to jail, they have to pay a fee that goes back to Crimestoppers.
That goes back to Crimestoppers.
Love it.
And we use that money. It's only used, all the money that we raise is actually only used for the operation of the program and rewards. Me personally, I'm a county employee.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah, so none of the money that we raise from Crimestoppers goes to me to fund my position or anything of that nature. My position is actually funded agreement between Bloomfield, Farmington, Aztec, and San Juan County, the police departments. They all pitch in a little bit so that,
A little bit for
we're
all
not-
get you a full-time job, basically, right?
Right. So
good.
basically
Nice.
what that means is, we're not spending money trying to make salaries. We're
Sure.
spending money on the program.
And you are basically the staff, are you not?
I am the staff.
Of Crimestoppers.
I answer to the Crimestoppers board,
Right.
which is volunteers throughout the community, and we're always looking, obviously, for volunteers to sit on that board.
Right.
Every month, I go in, I talk with give them the financial information, what our plans are, where we visited, who we talked to, what the tips are. Again, we just kind of give the basic details and what resulted in that, and then the board votes on what the actual award is.
Gotcha. The monetary about whatever
Right.
the case was, how I guess they decide maybe how important that tip was to the arrest of that individual, or they try to maybe rank them. Or
Well, several years ago, we went to what's called the P3 tips system. which is where people can go online and submit their tips. In that system, there are point values, for homicide, for bank robbery, whether it's, people throwing trash out on the side of the road, any of those things. They're all given a point system. That point system then generates how much the tip system recommends as a reward. And then I go in and talk with the board and say, okay, yes, this is inappropriate. We believe that this is appropriate. We believe maybe because of extenuating circumstances it needs to be more than what it is, or less, depending. And then the board ultimately has their discussion and they make the determination.
They have the final say.
They have the final say as to how much the reward is. So.
Gotcha. And the average is roughly a couple $100?
The average is between $200 and $250 right now. So is what we've paid, but we have paid several times $1,000 for different things. So
nice. Well, and again, there are many times, as you and I probably both know, that there are people out there that know something about a case, but for whatever reason, they just don't want to talk to law enforcement, to dispatch to whoever, and so Crimestoppers gives them that avenue to share what they know anonymously.
Right, and it was kind of funny. The first day that I got there, the very first tip that I had was on a murder that happened 5 years ago. So we cover, back cases.
Sure.
And that tip information went to the appropriate cold case in Farmington, for the appropriate detective to investigate that avenue. So even if you know something that happened a long time ago, and it's an unsolved case, we work on those too. So.
Right. Okay. You've also put together kind of almost I think it's weekly, or will be weekly, poster of folks that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And you sent me one maybe a week or so ago, and
so
this one may or may not be up to date, right?
Right. We basically put, Crimestoppers tries to put out the poster every single week.
Okay.
Basically of the high profile or the people who are wanted. The police departments, if they're looking for somebody specifically that week, they'll let us know and say, hey, can you put this person on that poster?
Right.
We send that out via email to just
everybody.
about the entire world, it seems like. At times.
Well, and then with social media and everything else, I imagine it gets
social
just
media
everybody.
And everything like that. And we get really good response to that. I mean, the postings that I've done when, like, Farmington PD was looking for the individual who took the puppy from the animal shelter.
Right.
We got a tip on that, and within like 2 or 3 hours, we had a tip on it.
Nice. As
to say, this is who we believe it is, and
they were
we forwarded it on, and I believe they were able to find that person. So.
Right. And that's a great. That's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, that's exactly how it's supposed to work. So.
And all these 3 individuals that we're looking at right now, again, they all have warrants for their arrest, or
they did at the time that we issued that, and that was about 4 weeks ago. So they may have been picked up,
right?
And so those warrants may have been cleared. So
got it. So, and again, that's why you put on there, warrants must be confirmed before arrest.
And we also put in there, do not attempt to arrest or confront any of the individuals you see, because even though they have those charges, you don't know any of the history, and it's best just to contact the police if you see them, or contact us and say, hey, this is where they're at. We'll make sure that the police get over there to talk to them.
Balls in your court.
Yeah.
Police officers. So that's how it works. And we were talking before that tips don't have to be about necessarily all like more serious crimes, I guess, when we talk about things like breaking and entering or robbing someone or murder or whatever, but we were talking even about illegal dumping.
Illegal dumping
could be a Crimestoppers tip.
San Juan County is really pushing this year for the illegal dump sites on their board, so that people can submit tips about illegal dumping. They can submit tips on anything.
Interesting.
Any illegal activity, we take a tip on, and we pass that on to the person who's supposed to get it. So.
Right. Johnny Adams is my guest this morning. He is the new executive director of San Juan County Crimestoppers, and again, the work continues. And it seems like I see on social media all the time. There's this proliferation of sort of security cameras, and so we get a lot more. Everybody gets a lot more images to go along with maybe some of these crimes. Are you just finding that as well?
Yes, we do, actually, and I talked about the P3 system.
Yeah.
When you go in there, there's an option to not only submit the narrative about all the information, but you can also upload photos. Other information, the address will come up and it'll populate directly as to what that location is, so that when the police come, because the police sign into our tips program, they get the version where it's basically the information back, and they can look at all of that information that the person has provided. So we get pictures of vehicles, we get pictures of incidents that are graffiti.
Right.
We've had pictures of those uploaded, all of that. That way the police know exactly what they're looking for.
Sure. And what would your advice be to folks who are maybe in a neighborhood watch or in their neighborhoods and they see a suspicious vehicle or anything? Should they be calling those things in? Should that go to a Crimestoppers? Should it go to law enforcement? Or I guess it's up to them if they want to talk to you.
If it's an active thing, I spent time with Cedar Hill Neighborhood Watch this last weekend.
Right.
If it's an active thing that you are witnessing, of course, call the police.
Okay.
They are going to be the first people. They are going to be the emergency responders for all of that. But if you don't feel comfortable talking to them, actually, we can go through. They can put in the tip. It comes directly to my phone, which I have on me all of the time.
Okay.
Even when I was on
Yikes.
vacation last week, I was still answering tips and making sure that those get there. So
that's above and beyond, I think. So is there a way to forward that to you don't want to go to dispatch, though, right? That's the whole point.
No, the whole point is not to originally go to dispatch. So,
right.
Although in the past, Crimestoppers has used dispatch as kind of the ones who are supposed to answer the phone, the 24 when I'm not available. We currently use a company in Texas, but I'm trying to get it worked back to where it comes back to San Juan County.
I see.
Because I think that it really should be, the program is in San Juan County, it's about San Juan County.
Right.
Everything should be as much as possible in San Juan County. So
that would be nice. But again, you really want to keep that anonymity, so it's important to make sure if those calls do come back that they can come back anonymous, I suppose, right?
Yes.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And so what are some of your goals now as a brand new executive director? What do you hope to see? This may be one of them, I guess, maybe bringing that call center back to San Juan County.
I would like to see the call center come back to San Juan County. I would like to see a lot of our marketing materials that in the past have gone out of the county. I'm bringing them back into this county so the local businesses benefit from the funds that we raise.
Right.
And my goal is to be out there and to talk with the community. I went to Riverfest and had a booth there so that we can go out and talk a little bit more to the community. And it was really surprising when most people walked by and they were like, "Oh, Crimestoppers! I didn't even know you guys were still there." And so all of that had kind of fallen away. So I want to make sure that we get back into the public eye and let them know that we're an option to get that information to the police department as they need to. So.
Sure. And go ahead, I'm sorry.
The other thing that we were asked to do, and I'm working with the board, is do a lot of crime prevention in the schools, do some crime prevention training, and
nice. And would that come from you, or is there a national resource you get help from?
We get help from the National Criminal Association.
It is a national group.
Yes, it is a national group. We also get help through Crimestoppers USA, which is the national group.
Sure.
So we go do those training, and then we coordinate, and I may do the training or talk with police officers and try to coordinate to get them into those schools so that they can talk with.
Right. And you mentioned that you have a board, and they are the ones that decide on the amount of the rewards that go out, and they're who hired you, I suppose, right?
Yes.
And oversee you and
and
all of that. Are they a resource that you can call on to say, hey, we have a booth at Riverfest, can a couple of you folks come and sit down there with me
Actually,
from time to time?
So, we have our board members if they have the opportunity to come and sit at the booth and talk with people.
Nice.
And then, just different things. They make sure that, like if I need chairs or whatever, they make sure that if we have that available, we get that where it needs to be. So
yeah, well, excellent. Well, that's a good thing.
They're very helpful
as well. Sure. And we talk about your goals, and so is there anything else that you'd like to see happening? You mentioned getting into the schools and doing a bit more of that. I know you're making overtures to all the police departments and kind of reminding them of what Crimestoppers can do for their cases and things like that. How's that been going?
It's been going very, very well. Every agency that I've spoken to has been very receptive. We've been updating all of our contact information over the last couple of weeks to make sure that, again, we're getting the right tips to the right people in a good time that they can take action on them. So, and all the departments have been really, really nice and really, really helpful, really, really supportive. we have a long history here in the community, and we've shown that the Crimestoppers program really does help. And the police departments want to see us out there getting those tips that they can't get to. So
Sure. And you mentioned again that sometimes you never know, even with like a cold case, as you were mentioning,
Right.
something from even, I don't know how old that case was,
that
5
was
years
5
ago?
years ago. So
That you put information out there, and all of a sudden somebody's memory gets triggered, or what have you, or
Yes.
something happens that triggers something, and all of a sudden they call in a tip, and,
Yeah.
it might work out, right?
yep. So
You just never know.
you just never know what information.
Doesn't just happen on TV.
Yeah, it
Right?
doesn't really happen on TV as the way that it happens on TV. So but,
Yeah.
basically try to do that. I would like to, speaking of goals going forward, I'd like to expand a little bit more on maybe working with helping work to do some of the bigger cases that we have. If there's not leads or anything like that, work with the new studio that's coming up here, movie studio.
Film studio, right?
Film
The
studio
sound
that's coming up.
stage, right? That the county
And
is you got
use
funding
that as
for.
a resource to say, okay, can you guys make a small production of a reenactment, stuff of that nature? And those are just some long-term goals that we're working towards. So
Sure. Okay.
I think that would be something that the community would really, really like to see, and I think it would really help our community and give those individuals an opportunity to practice their skills.
Well, sure. And the other side of this conversation, I think, has to be about the crime victims, right? And
Right.
and to have been a victim of crime and to not have a arrest or a conviction
Right.
going on, and then all of a sudden maybe a tip comes in, and finally there's maybe some closure.
There's some closure that maybe they've been wanting to get for a long time. So
That could be very helpful
Yes.
too for those families, I'm sure, and those individuals. So it's great. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations, and it sounds like you're doing great things, and we'll be hearing more from San Juan County Crimestoppers, it sounds like.
definitely you will be hearing more. So
Wonderful.
All right.
Once again, the phone number, and again, I can't believe I didn't give the Crimestoppers phone number.
For the tips is-
if somebody has a tip,
yeah,
right?
334-TIPS, which is 334-8277.
Okay.
They can also submit online. Go to p3tips.com, and it'll walk you through to make sure that it gets to where it needs to be. And then, actually, I've even had people come to my office.
Okay.
So, and my office is at 4750 East Main, where the Water Commission is and stuff of that nature.
Okay. It's kind of
Thank you.
midway between Farmington and Aztec. Is that
Yeah,
a
it's
good way to
just
describe it?
just kind of before you drop off and head off to Farmington Lake, we're off to the left right there.
On the north side of the highway, I
On
would
the
say,
north side of the
516.
highway, yeah. And I've had people come in and talk to me about different things, and if I can help them, I can help them.
Very good. Well, great. It's a great resource. It's got a great history here in the community, and I think it's great that you're behind the scenes now and moving things forward, and
Yes.
and with the board support, that's really important as well.
Yes,
So
the board is the ones who really do help support and guide. There's a wide range of experience and skill on that board, so if I don't know an answer, they can generally point me in the right direction. So
well, that's always good. So that's great. Well, Johnny, thanks for coming in this morning. Come back anytime. Keep us informed of how things are going.
it sounds good. Thank you, Scott.
All right, you're very welcome. That's Johnny Adams, everyone, the new executive director of San Juan County Crimestoppers, my guest here on KSJE. This program on KSJE is supported by Citizens Trust and Investment Corporation, providing a competent, innovative, and caring team of professionals to serve wealth management, trust administration, employee benefit plans, retirement planning, and estate settlement needs. Find out more about Citizens Trust and Investment Corporation at 505-599-0181. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, your community hospital with a rich heritage that dates back to before New Mexico was a state. We've been improving the health of the Four Corners since 1910. As a nonprofit hospital, San Juan Regional Medical Center is a values-driven organization. We strive to deliver on our mission to personalize health care and create vitality and enthusiasm in healing. We are here for you when you need us, offering a comprehensive range of inpatient, outpatient,